Hi, I'm Christopher Walker with Closely Observed Teaching. Here I am at Prop of Coffee in Bielsko-Biała, waiting for my cappuccino to arrive. Question for you. What would you do if you planned a whole PowerPoint presentation for your class and you get into the classroom, you find the projector's not working or your laptop dies, the technology fails you? What would you do? In this video, we'll take a look at one possible option. So this was the situation that faced a colleague of mine recently. He had a lovely PowerPoint presentation, it was all raring to go, got into the classroom and the technology failed him. In the end, he just turned the screen of his laptop round so that the students could gather together and take a look at the PowerPoint that way. That's one way of fixing the problem, I suppose, but it helps then if you only have a few students. But how could you turn this into a teaching opportunity? Well, I don't know about the whole PowerPoint, but if you wanted to start the lesson with an interesting photo and then let's say you forgot to bring it to the class, you could use that, certainly. So as an example, I tried this with a couple of my classes. I went into, first of all, an adult C1 advanced class, and we're going to be looking at stressful situations. I wanted to show them a photo of me on the slingshot ride. Now, if you know the slingshot, it's like a reverse bungee. You sit in this kind of orb that's attached by cables to a couple of supports, and then you get launched up into the sky. Now, I had a photo. Actually, I didn't even get it. I didn't bring it. I didn't want to. I wanted to say to my students that I had a photo, but that I'd forgotten to bring it. Whoops, such a shame. So I gave them each a piece of paper. I said, so don't worry, because I can remember what it looks like. I'm going to tell you. But if I forget any details, you'll have to ask me questions. So that's what we did. I described the picture bit by bit. I stopped every sentence or two to let them draw, but also to give them the chance to ask some questions. The pictures that they were turning out were very different, which was great actually. And as I was doing this, I thought, oh, the pictures are very different. So after my description, I said to them, okay, get into pairs. How are your pictures similar and how are they different? And which one do you think is a better approximation of the picture that I was trying to tell you about? So they did that, and then I asked them, okay, so what do you think the picture shows? What do you think is happening in the picture? And actually two of the students had done a good enough job with their rendition, and using their background knowledge, they were able to tell their partners what they thought, and they were right, that this was me in the slingshot. So I think that worked very well. It ran for about 7-8 minutes in total because of the pair discussions, but it launched us into the lesson quite nicely, I thought. So then I thought, well, okay, but they're adults and they are quite high level, they're C1 level. What if it was B1 level teenagers? Would the same thing work? So the next day I was going to be doing a review of tenses using a little dialogue in the book. This is Think 2, the textbook, if you're familiar with it. Had this short dialogue, and it was about somebody bumping into Bradley Cooper. So you have a picture in the book of Bradley Cooper in a tuxedo, and that's it. That's the introduction. That's the build-up. And I thought, well, that's a bit boring. So let's do this thing where I've got a picture, but I've forgotten to bring it. So I told the students, and I started to describe Bradley Cooper, not very well. And then I stopped, and one of the students put their hands up, and they asked, what about eyes? And then another one said, well, what about ears? And then another one said, oh, what about nose? And they were going through all the vocabulary of personal appearance that we were due to revise anyway, but that hadn't come up yet. And they were also revising the structures for asking simple questions. So when they said something that was ungrammatical, we could look at it that way. That was actually the point of the task. We're going to listen to a dialogue. The dialogue was like a back and forth between two people, question answer, to revise question forms and tense forms. So basically this little drawing exercise preempted all of that. I got them to do the same thing again where they were describing the differences between them, gave them a little bit more vocabulary this time and more structures, like in my picture he's got but in your picture he's got and then something like that. And again, it worked very well. I think ran for about the same sort of time, again up to nearly 10 minutes in total with the feedback phase. And then I went, oh, of course, there is a photo in the book. Could you have a look? And then tell me how your picture's different to the photo in the book. So that's one way that you could get around the problem of technology failure if you're looking at a picture. And what could you do if you had technology failure for a listening exercise? So think about that and leave your comments below, and I'll come back to this point in the next video. If you liked this video, please think about subscribing to this channel. It's a growing channel. We don't have a lot of subscribers at the moment. And if you find anything here that's particularly useful to you, then please do consider buying me a coffee. Thank you very much.